Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 646 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I am your host, Christian Piles, joined by Kyle Brackey and Ben Funky Askren. America's heavyweight, Oliver Stone, is still, I guess he is on some sort of a horse and buggy situation that it could take this long.
He's on leave from work.
To my knowledge, he is not on leave.
He's doing work because he was hitting me up about stuff just before the show.
It's so I don't know, but we missed the big guy, and he'll be back tomorrow. He claims.
Isn't today a New York area code too?
Yes, it is. As I think Tyler put this in. Area code 646 covers the Manhattan and Bronx areas of New York City and is used by businesses in a wide range of industries.
I know he's a Strong Island guy, but he loves the city.
You gotta love the city. Yeah, New York to the Bronx. Got love for all. So, big shout out to all our Manhattan listeners, of which there are probably some, of which there are some. Okay.
Not much wrestling in the Bronx.
We need to do Spay East because there's like a way we can see like where people are consuming our content from.
You can actually, I know you can see this on, you can see, for the podcast, you can see where the listeners are.
Yeah, we can do it for site too, I'm pretty sure. Spay used to do like a little breakdown of it.
They love
for
us.
They
love
internally,
us
but
in Iowa and Pennsylvania. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
I don't know where I want to start. I kind of want to start with this Mike Zadick story because I think it's interesting because, well, one of us, I won't tell you who, was on the Olympic team with Mike Zadick when this happened. And I'm curious.
it was me.
It was Brackey. And I just really would appreciate learning his experience. This was the Olympics of extreme weight cuts. My gosh. You had Cormier with his situation. You had Zadick, and we'll get into the Zadick thing because that's what I learned. And Ben Askren is a pretty heavy Chevy to make 74 kilowatts.
Cutting a lot of weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not ideal. Well, there was a 22 pound gap between the weight classes, so not exactly ideal. But I made it every time. Never missed weight. We're all good.
Yep, we're all good. So, how much? Well, let me set the stage here because not a lot of you may know the story. I remember this when it happened, but this was in 2008, so it was a little harder to follow the sport then. So what happened? Mike Zadick, similar to Jordan Oliver, he made the Olympic team. He won the spot, but we did not qualify the spot outright. So Mike had attempted to qualify it at Pan Am's. He got third. He lost a controversial match to Sasuri of Canada, so we weren't qualified. Then he went to the next Olympic qualifier, and he lost to a hammer from Iran named Mohammadi at that one, so he didn't qualify. And then the last qualifier, Coach Jackson did not send Mike. They sent Gallic, which that I do not remember at all. And I don't remember that Mike really wanted to go. And a question I had, and I don't know if you know this, Ben, but at that point, had Mike made the team, or was Mike just one of the guys they thought could make the team?
I don't recall this. I feel like there's no way it could have been after the trials because if you remember in 2008, the trials were very late. It was mid to late June, and then we wrestled in early August, right? So it was way, way later. So I don't assume that there's any way this was after the trials. And Gallagher is really back and forth. And I almost think, I could be wrong here, I almost think it was relatively soon before the trials to the point where they thought going over there, making weight, traveling might have an effect on their ability to compete in Olympic trials.
Yeah. So, and that is an interesting dynamic, but Zadick in this story, and I'm referencing, you're probably, what are you talking about? So Andy Hamilton did this awesome write-up article about this story.
Yeah, I just put it in the Facebook chat. It's up on the front page of the site as well too.
So check it out and read the full thing, but I'm curious for Ben's perspective. Many of you have already read it. So they send Gallic, and Zadick was really mad about it, and Gallic doesn't qualify it either. So we can't get this darn weight qualified. Then Mike makes a team. Then there's 18 wild cards across all three styles, and though Mike was a world silver medalist, he did not get the He did not get the wild card. It went to underrepresented countries. So they brought Mike to Beijing anyways, just on the off chance something happens. And oh, by the way, that something happened basically twice. So the Bulgarians had a guy named Gide, or I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Yeah, it is called Gidea, Guidea, I believe.
Yep. So he tore his Achilles in Beijing playing basketball.
I do recall this.
Okay, so then they're like, okay, hey, we're going to try to get his backup in. And that dude was driving to the airport to go to Beijing. He got a flat tire, wrecked his car, broke his sternum.
Yup.
His sternum, that's this one right
Sounds
here.
really painful.
That sounds horrible and difficult to wrestle in. So he didn't go. So Mike Zadick, you're in. Slight problem. He was a 149-pounder in college, and this is 60 kilos, 132.5 pounds. Now, that's a weight he had made many times. However, he found himself 23 pounds over with 2 days to go. Not ideal. So he goes through all these lengths to eventually make the weight. At one point, he loses 3.5 pounds in 15 minutes. He ends up 1.5 pounds under, and he couldn't eat or drink anything for like the rest of the day. And then he ended up doing. He went. I think he went 0-2 at the Olympics. So crazy story. It's not really about that kind of how it went on. It's just the crazy scenarios. But I'm just curious what kind of stories you have about that scenario, Ben.
Yeah, so I didn't remember that because I was probably getting ready to compete or competing. I don't remember which days we went on, right? But it was either 2 or 3 days. So I don't even really recall that. I was probably worrying about my own self because making weight for me at that point in time was really challenging. And I do remember the car accident. Now that he said that the first dude got hurt, second dude got in a car accident. I remember that. But yeah, I don't remember anything about his weight cutting because I think I was probably doing my own thing, cutting weight at that point in time.
Got it. Wow.
Like I didn't really get to watch, Henry. I didn't get to watch much of him because I was busy cutting weight.
I think you should have been more focused on the team than yourself.
Kozak told me too. Olympic trials were June 13th. Final qualifier that Gallic went to was May 3rd.
How does he know that?
Yeah.
I think he made that up. Kozak.
No, that sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
So I made up the part about it being close to the trial. I thought maybe that was the thing. Maybe that happened. Maybe that happened. Was that the 2012 year where it was Bunch and Coleman Scott and someone else, and that's why they didn't wrestle and Reese and in the trials because someone was out over qualifying the weight because they fell on the same date, right?
Yep. So they sent Reese. So Coleman won the Olympic trials, but those trials did not have Reese or Bunch because
they were
trying to qualify the weight. Now, and those qualifications were very close, if not overlapping, with the Olympic trials. Yes. They're very, very close. And we sent Reese to one and Sean to the other. I feel like was it Sean that qualified it?
I don't remember.
I think it was.
I
think it was Bunch that qualified.
I think Reese didn't and Sean did. But because they were doing that, they all got to get this special wrestle off at Beat the Streets, if you remember.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Now maybe am I misremembering? Because who did he beat in the? He beat Bunch in the final.
Someone wrestled someone first, and
Reese
then he beat Bunch in the final.
Okay, so it was Coleman. Reese lost to Coleman and Bunch was sitting out, I think. Yeah, because he qualified the weight. So crazy thing. So then Coleman beats Reese super close, and then he beats Bunch with that crazy 5 at the off. I think it was off the clinch maybe, and single leg cut back and plants him, and then Coleman's on the team at Beat the Streets. It was a sort of a, I mean, it's not an ideal way to
pick the Olympic team.
To pick the Olympic team outside, and the mats were crazy, and Coleman, I think he hurt his rib.
That's what I couldn't remember if it was him or Reese hurt his rib.
Coleman hurt his rib. I think Obi Blanc and him were getting ready or something, and he popped a rib, that day or the day before or something, and he freaking figured it out.
I remember, I think it was Reese too when we did the little flow film on him when they were talking about the process. because they wrestled the first match like way early in the day, and then the second one with Bunch was later at night. But the mat was really hot.
Yes.
Because it was just been under the New York sun, and they said the mat was really hot.
Yes, that is. I remember hearing that as well. Crazy, man. I'm glad that's not how we. It made for great theater. I remember watching it, and I was like, "This is amazing." And then, like, I started thinking about. It, I was like, "Wait, this is a really crazy way to pick your." It's not just the world team; it's the Olympic team. Hey, how did your weight get qualified in 2008?
Heskett placed at the Worlds. I think at that point it was top 7 at the Worlds. So I think Donnie got a medal in 2006, and then Heskett placed 5th in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you took the spot from them.
Came in, took it.
Said,
"Hey, thanks for the work, boys. I'm going to take over from here."
Well,
my weight,
so
my
I feel
rules.
like historically that the Olympic brackets were much larger, and they've been shrinking and shrinking. I think mine was 20 people. And now obviously we're all the way down to 16. And I think before me it was more than that. So, and I think at one point it was just whoever wanted to show up got to show up, kind of like the World Championships. So the brackets are shrinking and shrinking, and it's making it very, very tough to qualify.
What was the least disciplined weight cut of your career?
Least disciplined weight cut of my career. I don't. Let me think on that one for a while.
Okay.
Nothing comes. I'm pretty. I'm a very disciplined person. So
I was afraid of this answer.
Yeah, I have like it down to a science, and I don't really deviate from my plan ever.
When did you like cut weight?
I mean, okay. I'll tell you a funny story, and I don't know if it was undisciplined, but it was. So I made the dumb decision to wrestle again in the 09-10 season, and I wrestled in like 3 or 4 events. So that was my first time back, and I had to make, so it was 74 plus 2, which is 167 ish, somewhere in there. And even that's really hard for me. And it was my first time making it again in 2 years, because I'd been fighting at that time. So that was 171, which I don't know if you guys cut all the way, but an extra 4 pounds sometimes is like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
So I remember like, I really did not know if I was going to make it, because I just hadn't got down to that weight in like 2 years or so. And I think I was probably over by 2/10, but I refused to stop moving when I was on the scale. So if you move on the digital scale, it just keeps bouncing, So the guy's like, stop moving. And I just kept like jiggling my legs a little bit, and it would just kept bouncing. And then I just said, okay, I'm good. And I walked off.
What?
His scale was broken or something. Yeah, and then they marked me down.
Oh my gosh.
I might have been 0.2 over. I was really close. Or well, it was kilos, so probably 0.1.
Dang. I don't think that's how it works.
Ben Askren does what he wants.
All right. Ben Askren made weight. Okay, that's
Sometimes you just got to bully people a little bit.
come on. Ben, don't be a bully.
No, I said it's good. It's good. And then I walked away, and then he marked it down, so it was good.
Wow. Not okay. Well, I want to elaborate on that one. When did you first really cut weight? Did you cut weight in high school much?
Dude, I'm a dum-dum. I cut a ton of weight in 8th grade.
Perfect.
Yes. I don't know. I was an uneducated kid who, thought, hey, well, if I wrestle these smaller guys, I'm going to win a whole bunch. And let's see, 8th grade. 8th grade, I remember I wrestled 110. So it was the regional, right? And then there was a tournament in between, and then the state tournament. And I wrestled 110 pounds at the regional tournament. And the next week in between, I wrestled 122. And then I made it back down to 110 the next week. And I'm like, oh my God, that was so stupid.
That must have been fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember anything about the Cormier situation?
Oh, Daniel's going to be mad at me. The only memory I have, this is the only thing. And I think he made weight the day after I made weight. So again, it was this where like I was finishing my weight cut and I was just miserable. And I think he was just starting his, if I remember. But I remember he came into the sauna and he had a full Powerade and he chugged it. And I thought, dude, what are you doing? You just chugged that Powerade. And he said, well, I need energy if I'm going to cut weight. And I was saying, yeah, but you just drank like 1.25 pounds or whatever 20 ounces is. Like, you should not have done that. You just chugged it. What the hell, man? But I was like miserable, so I just shut the hell up because when you're cutting weight, I didn't feel like talking to anybody. But I remember looking at him like, oh my God, Daniel, what are you doing?
Dang.
So I don't remember anything past that.
I mean, it would seem like I'm sure it's not the first time he's done it. Powerades are so delicious, though. That used to be Powerade used to be like my favorite drink, probably from like high school till like age 24.
Are you serious?
I loved Blue Mountain Blast Powerade.
Oh,
I loved it. I don't drink it anymore. But
Everything also tastes 10 times better when you're at that point of your weight cut.
That's true. Yes, that is so true.
No doubt about it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Seems
Yeah,
like
and then I mean, so the other thing that's relevant about that '08 is we had the Olympic Village, right? But then they had I don't recall the exact name of it. It was I know it was because we had to tell the cab driver it was Beijing East Normal University. It was Beijing Taoshou Tomen, and you had to say it in the cab to get there, And it was so hard. Chinese was oh my God, it was hard. But so we weren't like in contact a whole bunch because there was a practice facility here. And you cut weight here, and so it wasn't like everything was in one spot.
Dang. Well.
Yeah.
seems like we cut weight a lot harder back then. Seems like the guys. I mean, I know the weight cuts
Seems
aren't
more
easy,
scientific.
yeah, but it seems like they've figured it out a little bit better now.
I mean,
And
even
there's
Jo is, he's now routinely making 65. He's looking good off the scale. I don't know.
That was day before too. Day before allows you to
That's
do
true,
worse
yeah.
things to your body.
Yeah, but I wonder, is that a little bit of a trap though too? Like, oh, I have 24 hours to recover. But if you do it stupid, it takes longer than that to recover, right?
Besides the first time I died, so it's not actually 24 hours
Right.
because usually at 3 p.m. weigh-in or something like that.
Mhm.
First time I made 74, I like couldn't move the next day. I won my first 2 matches, then I felt like I wanted to fall over. But after that, I had no issues with the recovery process. I mean, it's not 24 hours, but it's 16 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it does seem like I mean, who are our biggest weight cutters in? I mean, James Green.
James Green.
He was not. This is a guy that was making scratch 65 months in advance, and was hovering slightly above. I don't think this is a guy crashing down from 160, 165. Seems like he was just in striking this. So I don't know.
But you can't be so with the 1 hour weigh-in or 2 hour weigh-in, whatever they have. Just like college, you literally can't cut a whole bunch of water weight. You will just lose. You'll die your first match.
Yeah.
Not literally die, right? But you'll gas out. You'll fall over. You will not win the match. So from a competitive standpoint, it's impossible to cut a whole bunch of water weight and then turn around and wrestle an hour later effectively. So they can't do that. They have to bring their body weights down, and they can't cut that gigantic amount of water weight.
Correct.
Maybe our 57s.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
I was in
Dayton.
57s.
Dayton's got a big pull, but like Vito, I don't think it's that bad. Gilman, I'm sure it's tough for, but he's made 125. I feel like he's one of those super. I feel like he could probably get bigger, but I feel like he just keeps himself tight and lean, and like Spencer.
What
I
about
don't.
Jordan Burroughs? He's cutting a lot of weight, right?
Terrible. Yes, absolutely. He probably had one of the tougher cuts.
And
You
JD
just-
Cox hit 86.
Maybe he just never.
I remember the 1 year at Worlds, Bader said he was struggling.
Yeah, 20 when he got bronze in 17. Right? 17.
I thought it was one of the years he won. I thought it was the first year he won.
Well, that was at 92.
Well, no, when he won, he was up at 92.
Oh, yeah.
though.
Good call.
No, so he had I remember in 17.
right.
Remember he got hurt wrestling David. He had a bunch of time off the mat where he wasn't training or wrestling, and then his weight got high, and he had a bad cut.
Yeah, you're right.
Leading into that 2017 World Championships, and that's really he got bronze, but it's probably one of the worst performances of his international career. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, which says the standard that Jaden's wrestled at for it's insane. And even still, he got bronze. So yeah, that would be an example. Yeah, we don't have a ton of like weight cutters that I mean, I'm sure.
I think also by the time they've gotten to that point in their career where they're post collegiate, most of the undisciplined people have been weeded out. I
Right.
mean, it's very hard to get to that level of competition being with a lack of discipline. So I think by the time people get there, there may be a few who are undisciplined, or maybe a few who are forced to wrestle specific weight classes because of whatever reason. But most of these guys, they got it down. They're mature. They've figured it out by that time.
Right. Speaking of Gilman, yeah, the rumor been circulating for a bit now that has an injury to his foot, ankle, whatever, and he comes out with a blog on tpgilman.com. If you want to check it out, where he basically talks about, well, it's a little more complex than just an injury. It's about his kind of an emotional, spiritual journey, and his injury. Talks about having a foot, but the foot was a symptom of something else. It sounds like spiritual.
So is he talking about overtraining? I mean, that's kind of what I thought maybe he was getting at. It was hard. It's very cryptic.
It is a little cryptic. I don't think it's overtraining. I don't think that's what he means. I think he's saying.
What do you think he is talking about?
I think he's saying like, my foot injury is a symptom of some underlying spiritual or emotional kind of thing he was dealing with that he hadn't.
Which is what?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. He doesn't say that.
Make
Said
your
he wasn't
guess.
listening
Make
to
your-
his body,
I mean-
right?
Yeah, maybe it was that.
I made a guess. You make a guess.
Yeah, I'm making a guess. I don't know.
Well, so the overtrained thing, it would just be that. I mean, I think this is probably pretty easy to see in him. Is like, I'm freaking tough. I don't need to take any time off. I'm just gonna keep on grinding, and that's fantastic when you're young. I mean, I could say about myself, like I didn't take any time off, and then as you start getting older, the injuries start adding up, and you need to listen to those injuries for the longevity of your career. I mean, that was what it made me think. That he was addicted to that grind and that toughness, and proving that he was so tough and he could go through anything. And then, again, as you age, that's great when you're younger. It's outstanding. I did the same thing. But as you age, your body can't continue to handle that load, and you need to kind of ease off.
Yeah, I seem to remember. I'm trying to remember the interview. There was an interview after he either didn't make the team. Man, I'm not even going to try to quote it. I just need to find it.
Okay.
But he basically says something to the effect of, I just need to train harder or work harder or do something harder. And it's like, no, man, that's not why you lost a fix, or that's not why you didn't medal at this thing. It's like, it's not a matter of how hard you're working, because I don't even know if it would be possible for someone like Gilman to work hard. Is another thing. So,
And maybe this too is kind of referring. Remember, he wrestled through injury before with his hamstring. Like, he should not have been wrestling. So maybe this is referring to that as well, not listening to his body and what it's telling him.
that's an all-time crazy story. I forget now. I can't even remember what year that was, but he hurt his hamstring. I think wrestling Frank Molinaro, which just sounds like a horrible idea.
Whatever year the World Cup was in Iowa City.
Yes,
Because we didn't think he was going to wrestle.
and he hurt his hamstring, like in a pretty serious way. It sounds like. But he said,
18.
One of the sentences he says, I'm leaving LA after a physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional journey that's allowed me to realize the foot was just a symptom. The issues were much deeper. So I think there's a couple things. One, I know for a fact Vito Rujao is staying super duper ready in case, but I think there's just no circumstance whatsoever I can see Gilman not wrestling.
Yeah.
There's no way.
He can walk out on the mat.
He's gonna
Yes.
find
Do
a
they
way.
take all the number 2s to the Olympics? Just in case?
They didn't in my era. Nobody even trained. There was nobody there. I mean, now I think it's more regimented about who's going to show up at camp and who's going to help train. I believe it's more systematic, and I'd have to assume all those guys are staying ready.
Like, I know all the guys have their own training partners, but I know if like number 2s came along just in case.
I
believe I believe those camps are more open, right? If I remember the last one, like those, the Olympic training camps, wherever they invite maybe the top 4 guys at each weight class. So there's something like that.
Like Burroughs was at the
Yeah.
USA Wrestling camp. I think they do the camps. They take them. I don't know. I don't think they take the number ones, number twos. I know in the past. Okay, I'm trying to think. I feel like you have there were world entries, and you would have like a backup guy in there. Because I remember like maybe Gabe Dean or someone was like a backup entry at 86 if someone got hurt or something of that. Speaking so much from memory, not remembering, but I think we do sometimes bring backups just in case because you can enter them. But I would imagine Vito would probably go to Beijing as a result.
I would imagine that.
Yanni's going. Yanni's going to be Dake's training partner, which I thought is pretty interesting.
So Gabe Dean's not, I'm guessing then, obviously.
So Gabe on the interview with Chael was like, I'm not there anymore. I'm not his training partner. We may get together.
He said they talked about getting together a few times,
but they're not sure if he was pretty non-committal about if that would even happen.
Yeah.
So Gabe loses, Dake loses two of his training partners because he trained with Max as well. So that's a factor. I'm sure he would have taken Gabe as his partner. I mean, that's who he had taken, I think, in the past. They've traveled. I remember when he had his tune-up match before Daringer, he and Gabe went overseas and he wrestled that match or that tournament.
I'm pretty sure both times he's been here in Austin, Gabe's been his guy, like when he had the wrestle with Daringer, and then I know he came with him for Chimizo.
Right. So Yanni gonna be the guy for Dake, and
he's pretty good.
He's pretty good. It's a decent training partner.
He's all right.
So hopefully Gilman gets healed up and optimized before the Olympics. I'm not sure when the injury happened. It sounds like it could have happened during the trials finals. I don't know. I'm trying to sort of figure that out.
It was not. It was very cryptic. He was not straightforward with his answers in that article,
which is understandable and fine.
Yes, agreed.
Okay. So Bracky did a deep dive on Ohio State, and he has a lineup look, and there's some interesting little tidbits in there, and I want to kind of turn it to Bracky.
What? Oh, man. What? Are you kidding me, Bracky?
I'm assuming you're talking about 133. So let's get right into it.
Let's go.
As I mentioned yesterday, Ohio State top 10 finish every year except one since 2007. That's incredibly consistent.
Nice work.
And when you look at their lineup, like we were talking yesterday about like recruiting and what causes maybe ups and downs and stuff, like look at every single spot in the lineup except maybe 33. It's a top ranked guy in high school, that's battling for the spot. Some of them haven't quite reached maybe the expectations we thought, but I mean, these were blue chip guys up and down this lineup. So Heinzelman going to be the guy at 25. He arguably had his best year last year. I know he didn't have the NCAAs he wanted, but his regular season was probably the best it's been. 33 is where it gets interesting because Decatur missed weight at Big Tens. Sounds like that experiment with him at 33 is done. Yeah. It was kind of confusing because we weren't there. Ohio State sent a tweet out that he was going to hope to get a wild card and mentioned COVID in the tweet. And there was a way that if you were like contact traced or like had COVID that you could get a wild card if you missed your conference tournament. So that's what I think people thought it was, but it turned out he missed weight.
Wow.
Right. And it was, so it was kind of a weird situation. So I think that experiment there at 41 is done. And the Etchemindia thing at 33 is, okay, he would have to beat Decatur and D'Amelio, who he didn't beat last year, and who came on strong at the end of the year and finished inside the top 20 in the rankings. And I don't think he's as big as people think. And if it's sitting the bench or possibly getting in the lineup at 33, I think he'd give it a shot.
He must be super.
Are you hearing this from someone or?
We got birds everywhere, bro.
Yeah. It's kind of personal opinion and hearing a few things.
Okay.
Got it. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy at 33 because they brought in Will Betancourt, who was a PA state champ, and was at Lock Haven, didn't wrestle a match. He was just a true freshman last year, They brought in him at 33. Dylan Kuntz actually has a couple nice wins at 33. He kind of went on a run at CKLV a few years ago, beat Josh Kramer and Jarrett Trombley. So, I mean, that's not a bad option there. 41, you got to imagine it's going to be D'Amelio or Decatur. As I mentioned, D'Amelio really kind of came on strong there at the end of the year, won a couple matches at NCAAs. He's going to start the year in the top 20.
One thing, Etchemindy also has a red shirt, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he could redshirt.
But not, I mean, I don't know if that really helps because D'Amelio still got 4 years of eligibility. Sasso's got 3, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, these guys are not going away after next year.
I think you could see Sammy possibly move up after this year. And so that
it would make sense for him to move up now because that creates some interesting logjam down lower, but at least for the immediate future, 157 is kind of an empty spot.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but what I understand, I think Sammy's gonna wrestle 49 this year.
Okay.
I mean, he's been just kind of looking at his career. He's 40-4 in his first 2 years in the lineup. He was undefeated going into the finals last year and was so close from finishing that takedown.
Yeah.
So obviously
he's right there.
Yeah, he's title contender. 57's an interesting, and then the rest of the lineup's really interesting from 57 to 97. You could have Patty Gallagher go right away. I kind of would be surprised if he does though.
Yeah,
I think they want to redshirt him.
Yeah, I think they do want to redshirt him, and I think they're gonna go into the portal to probably fill this weight class.
Who's there?
There's not a lot there at 57 though is the problem.
Can't go shopping.
Let me pull the portal.
There's a lot of people, but there's maybe not anyone who is a top 15 type person.
Yeah, so you look at 57, Jose Champagne, Jonathan Ross, who started 3 or 4 years for Lockhaven.
Jose Champagne. I don't know who that is, but that is.
I know who it is. He was.
I take a look at him.
He was initially an Izzy kid. Then he went to somewhere in northern Indiana. Then he went to Minnesota, and then he went to Little Rock. Right?
Nailed it, Ben.
You know Jose. You know a lot about Jose Champagne.
He had a tough younger brother too. I can't remember what his name was. He went to a D2 or D3 college though.
The names I would probably keep an eye on. Ryan Thomas. That one.
He's solid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's solid. He's been in our rankings before, and he's an Ohio native, right? Isn't he?
Is he a Graham kid?
Yeah, I think
he's a Graham kid.
Yeah. So, and then Casper McIntosh was a stud coming out of Minnesota. Yeah, St. Paris.
He was solid.
Yeah. So
Indiana kid also.
There's an option. Austin Boone's an interesting one.
Yeah.
From Penn State. We mentioned him, I think, yesterday's show maybe. He was the top 30 recruit in the class of 2020.
I want to find what happened there. Why did he leave?
I don't know. He never wrestled a match.
Yeah,
like not even an extra match or anything.
Something must have happened there.
Bo Piper?
He's a long time funky fresh camper also. Austin Boone, probably 4 years, 5 years.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, he's always nice. Kind of quiet, but really nice kid.
I remember when he kind of began his descent up the rankings and stuff. You liked him last year when we were talking about him.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because he actually got ranked really early on in his career, like as a freshman. I don't know if he won state or something, and then kind of plateaued at that same ranking sophomore, junior year, where he was like 15 to 20-ish, and then obviously last year he shot way up the rankings, and yeah, he's real quiet, nice. He's got younger brothers that are much more talkative. I don't know how good they are competitively. They seem pretty good. They know their moves. I haven't seen them compete, so who knows?
Know their moves.
So I'd say your probably targets there, people they might be looking at, is obviously not Elijah Cleary. He just transferred to Pitt.
Pick up Elijah Cleary.
Let's get Elijah Cleary back.
Austin Boone,
I think
Casper McIntosh, Ryan Thomas, John Ross.
Yeah. So, I mean, Patty Gallagher is probably a better solution than any of those guys, I would think.
I think so, too. I just think right now the plan is to redshirt him. Obviously,
man,
it's May, and he could get in there, and they could just be like, holy crap, we got to let this kid run.
Yeah, I mean, is he really the top pound-for-pound guy?
You could make an argument for other guys.
Okay, but
he
you
has
guys
the
have
most,
number one?
Yes.
Yeah, we have number one. He has the most recent win over Facundo.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost in a long time. But
I mean, historically, then the guys who are number one pound for pound have success almost immediately. You think of this year, Ferrari and Keegan were very high. I think they were top 3, top 4 guys. They both had a huge amount of success. I got to assume Braxton probably would have had pretty good success. So those guys,
both Olympic trials.
I mean, at the NCAA level, yeah, sure, he did great. But yeah, guys who come out of the senior class in the top 5 or so pound for pound generally are ready to go pretty much right away.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he would. I don't think it's that they don't think he'll be ready. I don't think that's what it is.
Okay.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind he would do well next season if he wrestled. So then moving up, this is where it gets really interesting. Carson Karchla, Ethan Smith at 65. These two wrestled off in 2019 as Karchla is a true freshman, and Smith was coming down from where he qualified at 74 in NCAAs. And Karchla won 3-2. Now they decided to keep Karchla in redshirt, and he put together a 16-0 record as a redshirt. And then right before the season last year, he goes to the RTC Cup, and he beats Mekhi Lewis and Tommy Gant. And then he tore his ACL.
Double dang.
Smith made the most of his opportunity, though. He finished 5th at NCAAs. He beat Anthony Valencia. He beat Travis Whitlake. He went 15-4. Only lost to really highly ranked guys. So whoever wins this wrestle-off is going to, or the loser of this wrestle-off, could impact the rest of the lineup because they are likely to move up to try to get in the lineup.
Dang.
And so then you have a Caleb Romero, Ethan Smith, Carson Karchla trio. Romero
let's say Carson makes it at 65. So
Right.
then we've got Smith versus Romero, it would seem like to me.
Correct. And Smith has had success up at 74. He qualified for NCAAs and won 2 matches up at 74 at 2019.
Man,
Who's better, Smith or Romero?
Smith.
Romero got so much better last year, I felt like.
I do too. I don't know. I guess I'd just say Smith because he placed and Romero didn't. But you look at Romero's losses.
Romero
They were to Demetrius Romero and then Logan Massa in the blood round.
Yeah, that was.
So,
tough
I
draw.
mean,
He's good.
it's a toss-up.
Ben had Romero in the finals. Ben was really feeling it.
Wasn't that Demetrius Romero?
I think it was Caleb.
How bad did he lose to Demetrius?
It was kind of one-sided.
Demetrius is a beast.
He got ridden
Caleb,
for a
you let me
while
down,
too, if I
man.
remember right. But okay. Here's the way I would see it going. It was 6-0 to Demetrius. So the way I would see it going is Carson beats Ethan Smith. Ethan Smith comes up. Caleb Romero gets absolutely massive
Swolmero.
in the offseason.
Yes. Yeah, he does.
Just massive. So, I think he can move up to 84.
Yeah.
And I think he at 84 is likely a better option than Rocky Jordan. Dude, Rocky's schedule last year was insane. He only pretty much wrestled ranked guys. And he still made the blood round. He lost to Hunter Bolin and lost to Jeremiah Kent on the front side. But then you have Rocky Jordan, Caleb Romero thing going on. And then if Rocky loses that, he could go up and challenge Gavin Hoffman.
Which Gavin Hoffman's been struggling.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of 65 to 97 is kind of crazy there.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Fix that.
What one thing I think you should do, add at the end of those articles, is so you've got the lineup look, and then just boom, Bracky's Big Ten predictions. What's their Big Ten lineup, and you just put that in. That'd be
I like
cool.
that. Yeah.
So if I had to guess that back half, it would seem like Karchla 65, Smith, Romero. I don't know who wins between Rocky
Jordan.
and Gavin. Yeah, Rocky at 97 and Tate Orndorff.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, that's what I think it would be. Yeah, if I'm Karchla, I'm looking at. If I'm Smith and Karchla, I really want to be the 65 because you look at the national landscape at 65 compared to 74.
Yes.
Holy buckets.
Agreed.
Holy buggers. Hey, want to hear this stat?
Love stats.
Rocky Jordan had 18 matches last year. Only one person that he wrestled was below number 38.
Man.
That's what I'm saying. His schedule was insane.
wild.
Well, 180, you only wrestled Big Ten schedule, and then remember 84 was just loaded. They had like 10 or 12 guys in the top 15.
Pretty sure I had him making a deep run.
You had him placing.
Yeah, I did.
Which, I mean, like I said, he lost to Hunter Bolin.
Yeah, his
in the
losses
round of 12.
His losses were not bad.
Yeah, I mean, well, they literally can't be bad because the only bad person he wrestled was Kyle Cochran, who he tech falled, and then one of the matches was actually close. He beat him 4-2 in the other match, but that guy was number 69. I don't know him very well.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was his only bad opponent. So then technically he can't have bad losses.
I'm gonna send this to Tyler just to show you like
The swole marrow status.
swole marrow. Yeah.
He gets so big. It would be so easy for him to move up.
There was one picture where he's legitimately bigger than like Miles Martin, it looked like.
No,
I mean,
was there?
he looks
Maybe Kyle Snyder.
bigger and wider than Colin Moore in this picture.
All right, here we go.
That was the one. That was what I'm talking about right there. Yeah.
This is a big person.
He looks ridiculously large.
Yeah.
They call him
Are
swole
you guys-
marrow.
He's flexing though.
You got to scroll over a little more. I can't
He's
see.
working
He's
on
getting-
it.
he's
That's the
getting
preview.
it.
My
He's
gosh.
Yes, he looks as big as Colin Moore in that picture.
Yeah. Honest, man.
Colin Moore wrestles 97 kilos.
Yeah. Who wears the shirt less, Echemendia or Romero?
That's a good question.
I think it's
Well,
Echemendia.
who was that?
I do too.
Who was
I
that
think it's
begging on today?
Echemendia.
Oh, or Ferrari.
Oh my gosh. Echemendia and Ferrari got no time for shirts. It's just pointless. Yeah. Now AJ Ferrari, he's just been emboldened since winning NCAAs. He's wearing shirts less and less.
Oh yeah.
Now it's getting hot outside. He's a national champion.
And people want him to take it off, you know? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like they want to get their picture with the guy with the shirt off.
With him flexing.
Yeah.
The beach ball flexes, they call it. All right. Okay, so
that's another like really solid lineup from Ohio State. I don't think it's a lineup that pushes for a team trophy, but that's like probably a top 8. They finished 9th this year, but I think they could improve upon that.
Cool. Good stuff on the Ohio State front. Where to next, friends? We could jump to questions. I thought you had did you want to talk about the mascot names?
Yes. Let me pull that up.
It was in the thing. Now it's not anymore.
Cause the link made it. Oh, I don't know. The link was weird.
Oh.
I'm gonna send it to Tyler right now. So remember we somehow randomly got talking about high school mascots last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Max Preps, who's a big high school publication, did a ranking of the best high school mascots, the top 15, and a few of the ones we talked about are on there, and some other ones
And one
that we didn't.
one's very close to home.
One hits very close to home.
One, especially David Bray's home.
David Bray. I forgot to tell him about this before the show
Oh,
too.
he's gonna be so pumped.
But the top 15 high school mascots, Tyler's gonna be pulling up here in a second. The number 1 is the Polka West Virginia dots, like I told you guys about.
The polka
The
dots.
polka dots. And you see a picture of the dot. He looks terrifying.
It's a messed up looking dot. I'd rather be a dot than the Frankfurt hot dogs. that is a tough one.
But I remember, I think it was Cody Arnold.
There
Yeah,
we
he
go.
told us about the Blooming Prairie, Minnesota Awesome Blossoms. They check in at number 5.
Nice.
And then down at number 10, Hutto Hippos.
That's
Hutto
like right
is
where we live.
right outside of Austin. That's where David Bray lives. And if you go to Hutto, there are hippos everywhere.
Everywhere. They have these concrete hippos in their yards. Everywhere. Everything's like hippo realty, hippo this, hippo freaking lawn care. Everything's hippoed out. They love hippopotamuses.
They probably want one for Christmas.
Honestly, yeah. Only hippopotamus will do. Think about hippos. They get kind of characterized as these like goofy like cows, but they're like the meanest animals that live, and they just like
They kill so many people.
They just kill people constantly. So anyway, Bracky is currently Googling some hippo statistics.
Oh my god.
Their body count is like better than any cryptid.
Dude, their KBDR is like a 25. 3,000 humans every year.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, some vegetarians. Jeez. So yeah, don't mess with a hippo. So really they're number 1. So we got the Dunn earwigs. We've got the corn jerkers. That's a tough one. Goes through some other ones here.
Oh my God.
He's just enamored by the hippostats.
Snakes kill 50,000 people per year.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Do you believe that? 50,000?
Sure, why not?
Scorpions,
everything you read on the
3,000?
internet.
Oh no.
We got scorpions around here.
You get scorpions in my damn house.
Oh boy, this is not good.
Hippopotamuses. This one only says 500. All right, still that's a big.
That's a lot.
KBDR.
Still dangerous.
I mean, I'm disappointed to see number 15, the Pleasant Hill Billies.
Ooh.
You know, that should have
Hillbillies.
been Man High School in West Virginia. In Man, West Virginia, they're the Hillbillies. So they're the Man Hillbillies.
Man Hillbillies.
That's better than Pleasant Hillbillies.
Well, I like the little play on words there. We've got the Dunn earwigs.
It's kind of sneaky.
Yeah, they snuck it in there. The Golden Goblins. Sounds made up.
Hoopstown Corn Jerkers.
The hobos. I don't know if you. The hobos. It's literally a homeless person with the thing.
Yeah,
that's terrible. The Laurel Hill hobos.
What's a Nimrod?
That's
Watersmeet Township, Michigan Nimrods.
I feel like that's what people like use that interchangeably with like idiot.
Idiot, yeah, idiot. I would say.
All right, so you're the Watersweet Township idiots.
What was your high school? We were the Pretzels.
Yeah, we got the
Berlin
New Berlin
Pretzels.
Got the pretzel pride. And then there's the one called the Millionaires, which is really strange.
Yeah, Williamsport, PA.
What if that would be great? I don't think Williamsport, PA is a very wealthy town, but that would be like, everyone hates like the rich community. Like that would be funny if they just called themselves the Millionaires. Yeah, they played into it. They went full gimmick on them.
What's the Haunchy Town High School? Haunchyville High School.
Haunchy is in Muskego, and I believe they're the Warriors.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need some Warriors.
They should be the Muskego Midgets. Because of the Haunchy short.
Kyle,
people. I think midgets
got canceled.
Oh
yeah,
no, I can't say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
man.
why I told my wife. I told my wife that's bullcrap. You can say that.
Ben runs in these famous circles, so he's ultra woke, so he knows all the things you can and can't say. And I'm pretty sure midgets.
No, my wife tries to cancel me, and I just say, "Listen, you can't cancel me," and then we're good.
All right, I cannot be canceled for that.
Yeah, just you have to speak your
all you gotta say.
uncancellation
That's all you have to say, Kyle.
into existence. Okay, this is a great question. Let's get to questions from friends. This is a great one from Donkey JC. He says, "What age is the oldest version of Gable Steveson you could beat in your prime?"
That's a great question.
So David Bray talked himself into an audaciously old Gable Steveson that I think.
He said he could beat like 14-year-old, 182-pound Gable Steveson.
Absolutely no way.
Come on, 14-year-olds are not good.
That's what Bray said.
That's what he said. But this 14-year-old is not like. Listen, Ben, you've never coached a 14-year-old like Gable.
Well, no one has.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is an exceptional person. You cannot say, well, 14-year-olds are not good. This 14-year-old was a year before he won Worlds at Cadets, where he beat Jordan Wood. Okay, so this is I don't think
who was returning
World Silver. So I don't think 14. I mean, for me, the answer is probably like I feel like 10. I feel like I could beat a 10-year-old Gable. I think 11, 12 is when it gets tough and he starts snapping me down.
Well, the problem with like 14-year-old Gable is I'm still like 30 pounds undersized from him, and I feel like the Bay thing is you need like the man strength advantage over him, right. And I think even with the 30-pound weight advantage, even though I would be better at wrestling in my prime, I would hope, than 14-year-old Gable Steveson. I think the weight he would still be good enough that he would be able to use his weight.
So probably 12 for you.
Yeah,
you could beat a 12-year-old Gable. I'm saying 10. And that's it. I am not ultra confident. If
Ben, how about you? Could you beat cadet world champion Gable Steveson?
I was thinking maybe freshman year in college.
Oh my God!
You think you can still beat him?
He couldn't beat Anthony Cassar. I could do some of the same things he did. Because you're saying in my prime, you're not saying right now.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in my prime, I was going with Mark Ellis. He won a national title at heavyweight.
Okay,
that's fair.
Yeah. He finally started beating me when he got really big one year. I just couldn't. So when he won a national title, he was only like 235 or 240, somewhere in there. It was fine. And then one year he got up to like 270. I couldn't handle 270-pound Mark Ellis. But then even when I was at the RTC here, the one year I would go with Trent once a week, every day, and we would go hard, and I did okay. So man,
so you know how to endure the heavyweight hand fight.
I understand I understand the game the heavyweights need to play and how to wrestle effective heavyweight style.
Gable don't wrestle that though.
Yeah, Gable.
No, he does, but I mean, well, it's obvious. I'm not going to shoot under Gable. That's obvious, right? Again, that's a mistake that people make is because he's got the best go behind his rear attack. So I'm not going to shoot. That's obvious. I'm maybe going to do some high level attacking. I'm going to hand fight hard and I'm not going to be in a higher stance because I don't want to get snapped. For example, I'm not going to react to his fakes. So I think maybe in my prime, but maybe we could go 1 year earlier.
Got it.
He was lighter as a freshman. I was looking back to see what the oldest video we had of Gable on our site was. And it's from like 2014 at the Clash when he was at 182. But like going through the videos, you saw how like small he was as a freshman compared to what he looks like now. He was probably 230 as a freshman.
Yeah, smaller.
Yeah.
Dake on Chael's podcast said he thinks Gable's going to win the Olympics.
I think he's going to win too.
I do too. It's going to be so awesome.
I do 3.
Oh, Casey McWhirter, he's right. 85-year-old Gable. Boom. So when he's 85, the best version of ourselves will be able to beat him as well.
There we go.
So there's many years we could beat Gable Steveson. Okay. Do you understand this question? He said red rose or yellow rose. Is that a reference to something?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, we'll just move on. I'll say thug rose. There we go. We'll skip that.
Hey, there you go.
What's more impressive, 2 world titles or 1 Olympic gold?
I gotta say 2 world titles. A world title and an Olympic title, they're the same damn thing. They're literally the exact same thing. Just the Olympic title ends in every 4th year. So I say 2 world titles more impressive. Although the general sporting public may disagree, but that's not. They're not using common sense.
Yeah. I feel like to me, it honestly, it would depend on. So what I'll say is with 10 weights versus 6, now it's a really different thing. Right?
Oh, you can bring that, yeah.
Because it's not just that, the Olympics has a level of prestige. Because in years past, like in your era, Ben, the world weights and the Olympic weights were the exact same. There weren't more or less, correct?
For most eras.
Most eras.
That has just happened in the last. Well, there's two weight classes were added in 15, correct? And then 61, 70, but then 79 and 86 didn't get added to our 79 and 92 was like 2017, 18, 2018.
18. Yes.
So that's brand new.
Right. So I think it does make it a little different when there's 10 weights and you have all the wrestlers in 10 weights and you have all the wrestlers in 6 weights. I think that's a tremendous difference, and I think that's where it gets a little more interesting. So I think in previous eras, I would certainly say 2 world titles greater than 1 Olympic gold. Now the prestige and whatever for the public and whatnot is maybe a little different, but now I don't know. Now I'm not as sure. Now I feel like 1 Olympic gold at 65 kilograms is maybe a little, I think, a little more prestigious and difficult to do than 2 world titles at a non-Olympic weight, which, one of my big things is like stop treating the non-Olympic weights like
bastard childs.
But let's also not pretend that those weights are as tough as that all weights are equal. Just in general, that all weights are equal. It is just not the case.
Not true.
And there are tougher weights. And this says impressive. What impresses me more? It may be more impressive to run the gauntlet. Because let's face it, you could win a world title at some weights and not go through any returning world or Olympic champions or anything. And then you could go through an Olympic bracket where you go through multiple, right?
Now you're getting just way too nuanced because it didn't say a specific weight. It just said something's on the paper. Which one are you picking, Christian? Come on, man.
All right, I'll take an Olympic title.
Kyle, come on. Talk some sense into this, man.
At first, I was like, Olympic title. But the more I think about it, I think 2 world titles.
At first, I was world title.
Yeah.
My gut was world title. Then I thought about it more on this show.
If you can do it 2 times, you that dude.
Yeah.
Also, producer Tyler let us know that the Yellow Rose and Red Rose are both Austin strip clubs. I actually, and now that he said that, I've heard of the Yellow Rose being advertised.
Oh, really?
I have. Yeah, he says Red Rose is a new one, I guess. So we got competing roses in Austin now.
I honestly thought it was like a Bachelor reference.
No, they just do the Red Rose there.
Okay. Think about this. Did you guys see the movie Terry?
I've seen the movie Terry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two-time world champ, but what was the thing? I know what his thing was, right? It was the Olympic title.
Yeah. But again, I think that,
Croton.
I really feel like that's when you look at it from an outside 40,000-foot view, very logically, they're the same. They are the same thing. Especially in his era, they're the same thing.
Right.
They're very literally the same thing.
Yeah. And this is impressive, right? Not more meaningful, more prestigious. It's like what impresses you more.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was a good question.
Good question.
Any chance Max Dean transferred because he didn't think he was going to start? Did he just lose to a Cornell teammate in freestyle? And Darmstadt, maybe there's not a spot for him. I don't think that's the case. And I don't think Cornell would be reacting the way it was if they thought that was the case. I think the plan was Focus 74, Max Dean 84, Ben 97. Now, instead of Max Dean, it's going to be probably Jonathan Lowe. So that's what I think.
I would have thought prior to all those salty reactions that maybe that would have, maybe it's not the whole thing, right? It's not the 100% the reason he transferred, but that might have played a factor in it. Maybe Folk all of a sudden got a lot bigger. He beat him in the freestyle wrestle off. He's improving at a rapid rate, something to that effect. But yeah, judging by the reactions of the Cornell crowd, I don't feel that to be the case anymore.
Yeah. Man, Folk is it's not that we don't talk about him much, but I wasn't thinking about him in terms of the insanity he's going to add to an already insane 174. But that weight is going to be.
Is he going? He's going down to 174 for sure.
I would assume that's what he's going to do.
Wrestling 86 kilos.
Just 96.
Maybe now. I wonder who would they wrestle at 74 if he goes 84.
So looking at WrestleStat, they could go with Barry Asa.
Okay.
Barry, this is solid.
He's been on the cusp for a while.
And then you go Foca 84, Darmstadt 97, Fernandez heavy.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is a funny one from Actual Cannibal. Yesterday I asked about everyone's taste in music. What are some questions you've regretted asking because you were so disappointed in the answers? I'm sorry, Cannibal.
But I feel like we went all across the board with different things that we liked. So he had to like one of our answers because we crossed all genres, I feel like.
Maybe we just didn't.
Sorry, we don't listen to music about people eating other people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good Cannibal playlist. Cannibal Corpse, isn't that a band? They're probably.
Know.
Yeah, you probably love them. Actual Cannibal one. Bailey Brown, what happened to Gas Tank Gary being America's heavyweight? Great question. As far as I know, there needs to be a wrestle off between Ollie and Gas Tank to claim the title of America's heavyweight. Any chance we see that match on the next Flow card at Ollie Stone? I feel like Gas Tank Gary is the Oliver Stone template.
Yeah. Gas Tank Gary's going to give Oliver the beat down. It's going to be great.
He would.
I don't know, man.
Only because the Flow card soon?
Lord willing.
What?
We're working on it.
Working on one. What month?
We're up to something.
I don't know.
You guys always keep secrets from me. It's crap.
It's not. No, I'm not keeping. I'll tell you.
Not secrets from you.
Yeah.
What's June? Deal.
June or July. What's scarier, John Smith half pissed off or Jaden Cox unleashing hell?
I never seen Jaden Cox that mad. I'm taking John Smith until I actually see Jaden Cox mad.
Yeah, I'm taking John W.
Half pissed off John W was a scary, scary thing. Now, who could currently damage me more? Certainly Jaden. But, yeah, I don't know. The tongue lashing from John W. is just seems scary as crap.
That 184 pounder that he was half pissed off at.
Oh yeah,
is in the transfer portal.
Yeah, Keegan Moore, he is making the rounds.
He is. This will be his last go around. He's a graduate transfer. He's at UNI last year. Had an interesting match with AJ Ferrari. Remember? And he
headbutted him multiple times.
Yeah,
he went full rhino.
So I mean, he's an
NCAA qualifier type of guy.
He is. He literally qualified his 1 year in the lineup there. The year I think that John was half pissed off at him. He qualified for Oklahoma State, and this year obviously he was wrestling up at 97 because Parker, I think 84 is his ideal weight.
Mm-hmm. So you think so Moore could be at 84-97. I'm trying to think of he should go to Ohio State and just add some much needed depth.
That's a terrible idea.
That's why it's a joke.
Awful. Man. I don't get jokes.
He's from Minnesota. Owen Webster hasn't made a decision, but if he decides not to come back,
Owen needs to come back.
That could be a nice landing spot.
I like Owen Webster. Okay.
Are there still guys that you have not had comment to you or figure out because their school's over with? They should have a decision. If they don't have a decision, it's pretty crazy at this point.
No, there are. As of a few weeks ago, a few people told me they weren't sure yet.
What are they waiting on?
I don't know.
Maybe they just know and they don't want to put it out there. Connor for real. Transfer portal. Has it gone too far? All for what's best for athletes, but can it get to a point where the freedom becomes detrimental in season recruiting or concentration of power? Any opinions on possible negative effects or how close we are to them?
I don't think we're there yet. But I think, they're there in football and basketball. So what's happening there, and I think could happen in wrestling eventually, is so many people are going in, there are just not enough landing spots for them. So
then are they staying where they're at? Are they saying I withdraw my name from the portal or whatever?
Some, but then also some are just kind of out of luck. You're gonna they want to stay D1, but it's like no one has room for me.
Well, would it be like a walk-on situation where someone could just say, "Hey, I was at Penn State and I don't want, let's say Austin Boone, and no one else really recruits him hard," and he says, "Well, I'm just gonna go to Edinburgh and walk on there," something to that effect.
Yeah, you could do that,
Okay.
but I think these guys want money. You know what I mean? Like the guys that are worthy of it. So I think we could get to the point where people are putting their names in just because they think the grass might be greener on the other side. The demand for them is maybe not what they thought it was, and then they're like, "Oh crap, what do I do now?"
Because if you go in the portal, you can lose your scholarship.
The coach can, yes. As soon as you go in the portal, coach can pull your scholarship money.
Do you think everyone that goes in the portal is on a large chunk? Because as I look at those names, I got to think there's a whole bunch of guys there that aren't on money at all.
Correct. There are plenty of guys that go in that aren't in any money.
Especially in wrestling, obviously.
Yes.
Scholarship.
Yes.
But football, they're all on fulls. Basically.
Football, they're all on fulls. You can't divide those up.
Yeah. Well, I thought there was walk-ons. I thought there was 85 scholarships in football.
There are walk-ons, but I'm saying the scholarship, you can't cut them up like you do in wrestling.
Got it. So
no one's on. No one's on 10% or anything.
Got it. Yeah, honestly, I don't see the issue. I love athletes having the ability to move around and not be restricted. I think it just gets to the point where if people start transferring multiple times, it'd be like, it's one of those things where if you go somewhere once and the situation's not right, maybe you want to go find a new situation for yourself. But if you end up 3 or 4 places, the situation is probably you. You have some type of personal defects that is not allowing you to fit in with the culture or fit in with the coaches or right. And you need to kind of look internally.
Agreed. And I don't think it's a huge. I'm not there right now with there being major issues with the transfer portal because I think it's on the teams to, to invest in their guys and make them not want to leave. right? And I'm not placing blame on if any guys go in the portal. I'm not saying, hey, you need to tighten up because you're not treating these guys right. That's not necessarily what I'm saying, but I think it's the impetus is on the programs to make them feel valued and want to stay, and there is an element where it's on the athlete too, and it just may not work.
Yes.
But what would you need to see for you to think there is an issue?
What do you mean? So can I go back to one other thing you just said there?
Sure.
Is that the athletes will obviously have issues at times, and certain times the coaches will be issues. But when the power structure is leaning one way, meaning the coach knows the athletes can't leave without severe repercussions, that leads to certain behavior, right? Whereas if the coach knows the athlete can leave and there's not repercussions, and then obviously then it will unless the kid's really bad or a real problem, it will negatively affect the team, right? Because even if the guy's second string, but he's pretty tough and he works hard, you don't want to lose that guy. That's a valuable person to have in your room. Someone gets hurt, good leader, that type of thing. And so really, I do feel like it balances the power structure, because when you know that the other party, the counterparty, has the ability to go wherever they want, you have to treat them equitably. And you have to treat them right, and it will lead to, a more harmonious room, I feel like, and the power structure not being unbalanced. So I think that's really important to point out. And then, what would it take for me? It would be like where, and I just don't think this will happen, but where, say, Penn State or Iowa or something like that is getting a lot of like national champ or national runner-ups to transfer in, and I say I'll never forget like that. And we're having Max Dean transfer this year. I don't think that's just because of Penn State. I think they literally found issue with what Cornell was doing, but that's kind of what it would take for me.
Yeah, I mean, and Ironman, he's a national finalist level guy that transfer. He's the only guy in NCAA wrestling with a win over Yanni.
But that's like, again, that was he. And it was, I love Columbia, Missouri, so I got nothing bad to say about them at all. But he wasn't happy there, and he wanted to go find a new home, and he should be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. I don't
know what it will take to make me think it's gone too far, to be honest with you.
It would make me. I would hate it if you see a guy at a smaller program get there, do awesome, really perform, and then a Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State comes calling and they plug in there. If for example, thinking of someone like a Drew Foster back in the day, or a Parker now. Not that Parker was really under the radar; he was a really good recruit. But Drew would probably be a great example. You and I invest in this kid, build him up. Oh, he places as a sophomore, and then there's just like this feeding frenzy around Drew, and then he ends up transferring. And he wins a title somewhere else. Like that. That would just feel like I would just hate that, right?
Man, Christian, don't you really genuinely feel like if let's say Parker. Parker's a great example. He picked you and I for a reason in the first place.
Yes.
And now that pick has kind of come to fruition, right? They've done a lot to continue to develop him. They've done a good job with him. He's built relationships. Like, I don't really feel like he's drawn to go other places. I feel like he loves where he's at. I feel like he has an appreciation for what they've done for him. And so, you're not going to see a lot of people like that go other places because those relationships have been built. And if they're making jumps like Parker made, he's generally not doing it on his own, right? He's not doing it despite of the coaching. He's doing it because of the coaching. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Here's the hypothetical. All right, take the names out, take the teams out, but decent wrestler goes to a mid-major type of program, and they go, and he ends up developing and doing well, and he starts to get recruiting attention from teams that did not recruit him at all out of high school because he was not whatever. And now he goes and he places as a freshman or a sophomore, and this power program who can say, look at all the resources you're going to have, look at all the partners you're going to have. you can come here and you can have an impact and you're going to start and all this stuff. And now you've got mid-major program who, and let's say that the scholarships are equivalent. And how is this guy going to say no to, all right, well, I can go here and I'm going to have the best partners, the best, quote, coaches. Like, I don't know. I'm throwing out total hypotheticals that would make me say, like, man, I would hate this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that scenario is unlikely to happen all that frequently. Yeah, I really do. I think if someone lacks the gratitude of what's around them and they lack the common sense to acknowledge what the reality of the situation is. So again, let's take people like Parker better acknowledge that a big reason he's gotten so good is probably because he's got Taylor Lujan, he's got Drew Foster, and he's got good coaching, right? There's a good environment there. And so if he lacks the gratitude to acknowledge that situation, then he's going to struggle kind of throughout life, and no matter where he goes, because he's not acknowledging the positive things around him.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
Man, yeah, I think most kids are smart enough to think, hey, these people are investing in me, and that's a big part of the reason. I'm not doing this all on my own. Man, not that it's never going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen all the time.
Right.
I think your scenario is more likely to happen as a 1-year grad transfer.
Yeah.
You do your time with said school. Maybe you come up just short, or you place one time like low on the podium, and then you're like, man, it'd be really interesting to like go do 1 year at a Big 10 school or a Big 12 school or something like that, just to get that experience. But I totally get what you're saying, CP. It's not out of the realm of possibility for sure. Now, also what you're saying too is illegal. Like those schools aren't.
That's illegal.
Huh?
Illegal.
Did I say legal?
No, he's doing a bit.
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You can't like guy takes 4th place out of nowhere from Ohio, and then like Penn State or Iowa or somebody comes up to him and is like, hey, you want to come here? Like that, you can't do that. But it happens.
Come on.
And then let's think about the other way, Christian. You know, if you're talking about that, I as a coach helped this kid, wasn't very good. All of a sudden he gets really good, and he has no gratitude, and he thinks he's better than everyone on the team, and he thinks he did it all on his own, and he doesn't need anyone's help. I don't really want that dude around. He's going to be a very bad influence on the program. So if we can get rid of him, I'm probably kind of happy, despite the fact that we're going to lose points. If I'm trying to build a nucleus and build a group, I don't want someone who has that type of thought process around. So, and like I said, I don't think there's a lot of those kids around. I think a lot of kids who, you know, we brought up the situation at Parker, but there's other ones who have college coaches help them and they develop. Man, I think there is recognition of that, and there is relationships being built. So I don't know. I think that's the human condition. I don't think we're going to see it all that often. We are going to see it sometimes, but not an insane amount.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an example to point to that, or I couldn't even really come up with a hypothetical that was super clear. But I don't know. I just think
I can actually think. I actually can think of someone. I'm not going to out them on the radio of someone who thought the program is the reason I'm not succeeding more, and kind of like was putting it not on themselves. And then the next program they went to, the same thing happened, because you got to look internally most of the time, not externally. Every once in a while it's external, but lots of times it's the issue is internal.
I agree with that, and I think one thing about wrestling and the programs are all you can win and succeed in almost all the environments, right? If you're
doing the right things.
Yeah, if you do the right things.
And I guess to contrary to maybe football or basketball, and unless I'm not a football or basketball expert, so Brecky, if I'm way off, correct me. But hey, if I'm a quarterback and I play for a crap team and there's no offensive line, I'm just getting people running down in my face all the time, I'm probably not going to do a very good job as a quarterback. But you know, if I'm a 184 pounder and I have a few good coaches and a few good training partners, despite if the rest of the team stinks, I can still really achieve to the highest levels. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, 100%. It's football and wrestling are completely different in this aspect, because this happens all the time in football, because these guys are trying to get drafted.
Yeah.
And they want to go play at the highest level. So, like, for example, this year at West Virginia, they recruited this guy out of high school. He's a 3-star recruit. He had mid-level offers like West Virginia. He goes to West Virginia. He's a freshman All-American. He's a third-team All-American as a sophomore. And then all of a sudden, all the teams that didn't want him out of high school want him, and he transfers to Georgia. Because he wants to go play in the SEC. And if he plays well in the SEC next year, he's going to get drafted high. So it's completely different in football because there's this draft where you make millions of dollars, and guys are always wanting to play the best competition because then they have the tape that gets them drafted high. So it's different, apples and oranges in football and wrestling. But yeah, you're right, Ben.
Okay, last question. Did Bill Zadick make a deal with some sort of magical being / sorcerer resulting in a gold for himself in 06 at the cost of a curse upon his weight class for the rest of time?
I saw this question, and I don't believe in all that stuff, but there's a possibility, Christian, because didn't he win something insane like 7 ball draws in a row? Or it was something just totally crazy.
I didn't know that. Maybe that's Andy Hamilton's next article. So he's just going to stay on the Zadick beat.
Yeah, it was something like it was. Maybe it wasn't he won the ball draw, but he won the clinch. There was something just totally insane like that. Where he won a whole bunch of matches. So that was the 3-period system, the stupidest rules UWW has ever had. But there was something to that level. I wish I could find an article on it, or maybe the bracket or something.
Man, that's crazy. I did not know that. Of course, there's probably not a lot of video about where you can.
His finals matches on YouTube I'm seeing right now.
Okay. Who is it against?
Otari Tushishvili.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty good guy.
Of course.
Okay, so maybe we're not going to rule out that some sort of sorcery involved.
It's 100% involved.
Okay. All right.
That's the next Andy Hamilton article I need. That, and then what curse is on 65 kilos currently.
Yeah.
Like where it originated, who put it, how we break it. The Red Sox had the curse for a while.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe this is obviously 15 years ago, so I'm trying. I'm finding the last 3 matches he won. He won in 3 periods. So maybe it was like a 3-period match every match, which is fairly rare at that point in time. I think in all of these he lost. I think he lost the first period maybe in all 3 of those matches, the quarters, semis, and finals.
Yeah, he lost the first period against Tushishvili, and then he got a takedown in regulation, it looks like. We'll have to go back and watch it. And we'll have to look for any sort of sorcery going on. A shaman on the side of the mat. There could be something. Bill, we're on to you. Maybe. With that, we're going to go. 934 deep in the heart of Texas. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back Thursday, allegedly. That's tomorrow. We'll definitely be back. Maybe we'll have Ollie back.
Possibly.
He says he'll be back, but he is driving about 40 miles a day from New York to Texas. And just doing the simple math, I don't know if he'll make it. We hope he makes it. And if he's back, I think you guys will be just as happy as us. Plenty to talk about still. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good Wednesday. Bye.